Do different people see different things when people testify? I think I have the answer to that today. Hi, Tony DeWitt here, Missouri appellate attorney and a guy who likes to make the law make sense on YouTube to the extent that it can. Sometimes it seems somewhat nonsensical, I'm sure. But today we're talking about Wendi Adelson's testimony in her brother's murder trial. Now, this occurred toward the end of her direct examination. And the thing that really stood out to me is how one of the many people who offer content related to legal issues thought that this was a fundamentally big win for the prosecution here. That somehow the prosecutor here had Ms. Adelson squirming. Now, I've looked at this, I know 4 or 5 times now. I've watched it as carefully as I could. And I did not see her squirm at all, and I don't see it as a very big deal for anybody. But it's interesting because this person, obviously, I don't know whether they're just media or whether they have a law degree or whether they have no legal training at all. But the bottom line was this person saw something that I clearly didn't see. She said that the prosecutor really got her there and made her squirm when she talked about, what happens if you're arrested. So here's the backstory on this. The mother of the decedent contacted Wendi Adelson by email. And her shtick was generally, in the event that you're going to be arrested, here is the foster care program to put the children in. And that was not particularly well received by Wendi Adelson. And I think the reason it wasn't well received is because she hadn't done anything. They had absolutely no proof that she had anything to do with her ex-husband's murder, other than be in the same family where they now have her brother charged with this crime. And I don't know whether this is an attempt to tar her brother with her brush or tar her with her brother's brush. I'm not sure which of the two it is, but what I can tell you is that it really struck me that I didn't see what this commentator saw. So I'm going to run the clip real quickly, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that I think make a difference here.
What was wrong with Dan's mother trying to make arrangements for the kids in the event of your arrest? Wasn't that a kind thing to do?
I don't think it's kind to put my children in foster care.
Wasn't the foster care intended only to cover the time frame that it would take for her to get on a plane and get here?
She never said that.
You thought she was just going to leave them in foster care?
I didn't know what to think. They have a mother. They don't need to be in foster care.
But they wouldn't have a mother in the event of your arrest, Ms. Adelson. Wasn't that the intention of the email?
I don't know what the intent of the email was. I was not going to be arrested for a crime I didn't commit.
She didn't know that, though, did she?
Okay, that was a stupid question. You can't ask a witness on the stand what somebody else knew or didn't know, because they can't speak for that person. If they want to know what that person knew, they have to ask them. And I think the witness does a pretty good job of answering that question.
I don't know what she knows or doesn't know. I can't speak to that.
Do Dan's parents know whether you committed this crime or not?
And she doubles right back down on it. She asks the same stupid question again.
I don't know how to answer that question.
How would they? Particularly back at the time that she sent that email. It was fresh at that time, right?
I'm sorry, what was fresh?
All the events that were occurring, the arrests.
That was 2 years after Danny's murder. I don't know what she knew or didn't know. I know that my children don't belong in foster care.
And the prosecutor just keeps messing with the mama bear. And having it been established quite forcibly that she didn't think that her children belonged in foster care because she wasn't guilty of anything, well, then the prosecutor tries a little different tactic to show that, there was kindness behind the request. And there may, in fact, have been kindness behind the request. But the key thing that the prosecutor's trying to get to here is obviously you were afraid of being arrested, and it's quite clear she was not afraid of being arrested.
Was it a specific foster care that she was requesting be called in the event that the children had no place to go and were going to be going into the custody of the state?
She did suggest a specific foster care agency,
A Jewish-run foster care agency.
a Jewish foster care.
One of the things that really impacts a person's understanding of testimony is their life experience. If you have never been around policemen, if you have never been around the legal system, and you are seated in a jury, you are probably going to base your analysis of what goes on in the courtroom on the basis of what you've seen on television. And that's not a good thing to do. And that's because television is not at all like real life. It's in fact about as far from real life as you can get. Because on television, the crime and the police investigation and the trial and the conviction all occur within an hour. And that never happens in real life. It always takes years to get to trial and years to get a verdict, and then years in appeals. So when we look at this particular clip, we have to realize that whatever that person saw, obviously they've had different life experiences than I have. They haven't seen nearly as many people testify. I've seen people who couldn't lie if you put a gun to their head come off as deceptive in trial simply because of the way questions are asked. To me, the way that testimony has to be evaluated is from a standpoint of common sense and sort of reaction, sort of how does the person react to the question being asked. And I think that's a fair way to judge that sort of thing. Now, the other thing to remember is, particularly if the other party is a lawyer and the other lawyer is evaluating this, you have to understand that different people are taught different methods to cross-examine. And cross-examination is an art form. It is not a science. It is not follow this, wonderful 21-step method and you will have a perfect cross-examination. That just doesn't happen. Cross-examination is an art form because in cross-examination, and essentially that's what was going on here, she didn't have the rules of cross-examination to help her because she called this witness. She's not allowed to ask leading questions and that sort of thing. So she couldn't rely on the way that most people do it. But in this situation where you're examining somebody who has absolutely no interest in helping you, you have to be clear and precise in your questioning, and you can't ask stupid questions. And unfortunately, that's what the prosecutor did here. And I know it sounds like I'm just beating the prosecutor to death. I will hopefully have some comments on the defense attorney at some point. But right now, I'm just aghast at the way these questions are coming in. Hey folks, please excuse the interruption, but let me ask you if you would, if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you would, hit that like button and maybe even leave a comment. That tells YouTube that this is a valuable video and they'll refer it to more people. It helps me out a lot and I appreciate it. Thank you. The other thing that, in addition to cross-examination technique and techniques in direct examination, all of those things play into how witnesses are perceived. Another thing is body language. Now, some people, when they think they're sitting in the catbird seat, they'll just kind of lay back there on the chair, and rock back and forth and talk off the cuff. They don't have a problem in the world. But the moment you get close to something they don't want you to get close to, they lean in, they get squirmy, they start doing these sort of self-love maneuvers, kind of patting things down, bumping into the microphone because they're an idiot, that sort of thing. But all of these things are sort of self-soothing, and they're designed to to sort of dissipate the stress that's going on inside their brain because they're hearing stuff they don't want to hear. You see that a lot in people. Well, for example, if you saw the Amber Heard trial, you saw her do a lot of that. You saw several of the witnesses on there do that. When Johnny Depp testified, he just looked like he was having another fun day on Pirates of the Caribbean. He didn't have a care in the world because he wasn't lying. So body language is really important, and you have to look at that. There's a series of, or I should say a science called neuro-linguistic programming. And it says that when people lie and they access memory, they look one way with their eyes. And when they're telling the truth and they're just trying to recall something, they look another way with their eyes. And if you can process that information, it gives you some clues into truth telling. Eye contact is important. One of the things that I found really interesting in the Amber Heard trial, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, is that when somebody would ask a question and Amber Heard would not be forthright, she would answer the question like this: "Well, that's not what I think anyway." And her eyes would close because there is, I guess, some belief that people can see your soul through your eyes. And people, when they get to the point where they're lying, they close their eyes and they lie. And in this situation, if you look at Wendi Adelson, you didn't see that. Let's take another look at the segments here that feature just Wendi, her view, and you can see that she makes eye contact all through this and that she's not doing any of these self-soothing behaviors. She's very calm. She's very professional.
What was wrong with Dan's mother trying to make arrangements for the kids in the event of your arrest?
Never said that.
You
I don't know what the intent of the email was. I was not going to be arrested for a crime I didn't commit. Children don't belong in foster care.
Was it a specific foster care that she was requesting be called in the event that the children had no place to go and were going to be going into the custody of the state?
She did suggest a specific foster care agency.
A Jewish-run foster care agency.
A Jewish foster care.
Finally, the last thing that I look at, or I should say listen to, is voice. If people's voice changes, then a lot of times that's because of stress. In fact, there are things called voice stress analyzers that will analyze the degree of stress in a person's voice. But a lot of times when people get interested, they talk faster. If they talk faster, that may be an indication. If they talk slower because they want to really nail this issue and not the microphone, again, I'm sorry. If I could just quit hitting the microphone, I'd be in great shape. So, at any rate, you listen to the voice. You listen to the tone of the voice. You listen to how people talk. And you pay attention to how completely people complete sentences. A lot of times, toward the end of things, they'll just kind of drool off. And the court reporter may ask them to repeat that. Could you repeat that? I didn't hear that. And then they'll repeat it, but again, they'll still sort of try to trail off. That's usually because either they don't know or because they're making it up as they go along. And they want to hear how it sounds to them first before they say it out loud to somebody else. All of these things point to people who can be deceptive, deceitful, mendacious. Basically, they are ways that you can out a liar. And using the techniques that I'm familiar with, neuro-linguistic programming, body language, micro-expressions, I didn't see her squirm at all. I saw her deal directly with this prosecutor and do it quite well, I thought. At any rate, that's what I had for you today. Hopefully you found this interesting, helpful, useful. Today, if you have the opportunity, say a prayer for the people in the Middle East. You might say a prayer for all of us. Thank you so much for your attention and for being a member of this channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and catch me down here at the beach tomorrow. you like this video, here are a few others you might try, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a terrific day, guys.